Welcome everybody, this is Marcin, wider known on Twitter as Crocs from Big Ballzz Fantasy. You are listening to UEFA Champions League podcast, the show that should help and allow you to get better rankings in UEFA Champions League fantasy game. I have been playing UCL fantasy game for 7 years now, with good successes over time. I finished at the best 1% of players throughout the last 2 seasons, and I have been earning around 800 points in each season. In this show, you can expect a lot of analysis on numbers and football statistics. I'm going to help you get better idea how the game works, which players are worth picking, and I want you to be successful in the game. If you are a fan of football, especially if you love watching the biggest football events, this show is exactly for you. Sit comfortably, turn this on your headphones, basically listen to it anywhere you want. Even if you are new or you have totally no idea how the game works, I'm here to help. You can expect that every Monday evening or Tuesday morning before the game, there's gonna be another episode of Big Ballzz Fantasy. Hey everyone, we have a Matchday 5 already, and what the game this is this season. Currently I think I have 5 people that are not going to play this Matchday, so I will focus 2 of my transfers on the most expensive players. So currently I have the goalkeeper Lunin from Madrid. He's probably not going to play in the Matchday 5. I suspect that he might get a shot in Matchday 6, so that's why I am going to keep him on the bench. I also have Sergio Gomez from Man City that is suspended for this Matchday. I'll highly likely I'm gonna keep him on the bench for this match day. For Matchday 6 he will be back, and I hope that he's going to play, so that's why I'm gonna keep him on the bench as well. Another player is James. He's going to be sidelined for a longer period of time, and that's probably who I'm going to transfer out. Same goes for Leroy Sané. I saw the video today that he started to run. However, he have a bad fixture in Matchday 6, so I'll probably gonna target some other player for this spot. And of course, one and only, the troll of this season that was the savior of my last season, Pedro Gonçalves from Sporting. This one I'm gonna keep on the bench because he's gonna skip the match versus Tottenham due to suspension. He's gonna play in Matchday 6 with a better fixture. And the situation from the last match day, I didn't have in my whole UCL career that 2 of my players was getting sent off from the field. But that's it for my team. Let's hop to the matchday 5. This time I'm gonna focus mostly on the players that are injured, suspended, the transfers out, the possible transfers in. And I'm gonna avoid the games that are not really interesting from a fantasy perspective. I'm going to also talk about the teams that are already going to move to the next phase of the UCL, and I'm also going to touch the teams that are still having to play for something. First match on the schedule, we have RB Salzburg versus Chelsea. Both of the teams are unbeaten for a longer period of games, and they still both of the teams have something to play for, and we will know the lineups ahead of the game. So if you need some transfers, that's the fixture that we can target. Both of the teams have drew their matches over the weekend. Chelsea under Graham Potter looks really nice, especially from the back. Even though that they are lacking some major players like Reece James, for example, I think that they are looking much better than under previous coach. Bearing in mind the situation with the points for both of the teams, Chelsea have 7 points and Salzburg have 6. And I believe Chelsea will be through to the round of 16 if they will win or if they will draw. And AC Milan is going to win. Salzburg will be through to the round of 16 if they will win, and AC Milan will not. So huge chances for both of the teams. I suspect very tough game for both of the squads. I don't suspect the clean sheets for any of the sides, and I think Chelsea have slight advantage, and I'm gonna say that this match is going to end up 1-2. In terms of fantasy players, managers will have to get rid of Reece James. I don't think he's going to play in any of the group matches, so that's a sell. There's a lot of good options for upcoming 2 weeks, but that I will be talking later on the pod. Let's move on to the next one. Next up we have Sevilla versus Copenhagen. I don't think there's any good catching picks for this one. The only thing is that Sevilla can have the possibility to get out of the group, but they will have to win both of the matches. So the chances are very, very slim. And if they will lose this match, they will be confirmed on the 4th place in the group. Next up, quickly, we are going back to the Group E, and we've got Dinamo Zagreb versus AC Milan. Both of the teams are on the 3rd and 4th place with 4 points. There are a few picks that I would probably consider for our fantasy squads. So, for example, if you have to transfer out Reece James, somebody like Theo Hernandez might be a good shout. We need to bear in mind that there is still a lot of injured or suspended players for Milan. For example, Mike Magnan, the goalkeeper, is out. Also, Fikayo Tomori, the center back, is going to be suspended for that game. I would love to actually pick one of the midfielders from Milan. However, taking into the consideration for the probable lineup that I saw on Twitter, we will have Giroud, Leao, Krunic and Rebic in the forward places. So nobody that would be really interesting from this side. I would be picking between the Kettler or Rebic, but I think Rebic got injured. I might be wrong because I didn't watch the game. But other than that, I don't think I would be recommending any other midfielders. Let's move on to the next game. Next game would be Celtic versus Shakhtar Donetsk, and that's pretty much the game for a spot in the Europa League. If you have any of the players from either Shakhtar or Celtic, I would keep them. However, I would probably not bring anybody else to your fantasy squads, and I'm sure you have a lot of different fires that you have to put on. So I would say that the game is pretty tough to call. Maybe it's gonna end up 1-1 or 2-1 for each of the sides. Next up on the menu we have RB Leipzig versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid is pretty much through to the round of 16, and if they will avoid the defeat, they are going to be confirmed as a group winners. And Leipzig will be through to the round of 16 if they will win, and the Shakhtar is going to lose. So that's the situation for both of these teams. They are going. Real Madrid is pretty much confirmed that the Benzema and Valverde are not going to be traveling to Lipsk. And that being said, I would be picking offensive options from this team. So if you have somebody like Sané to replace, I would probably look into Vini or Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo might be starting the last 2 games, so that's somebody that I am potentially targeting for Sané replacement. Other than that, I don't think any RB Leipzig guys are worth transferring in. If you have them, just keep them. However, do not expect many points, maybe except Nkunku. Yeah, I'm gonna say that this game is going to end up 1-2 for Real Madrid, and my go-to transfer would be to get Rodrigo or Vinicius. Next up, we have the clash in Group G, and that's Borussia Dortmund versus Manchester City. I would expect to see City full lineup, with the exception of Sergio Gomez, of course. The player is suspended. I have him in my squad. I will not be replacing him for this game. It is also pretty tough to think what Pep is going to do, as always, pretty much. but this time especially because they rotated a lot in matchday 4. Probably in matchday 5 they will send out the full squad, and in matchday 6 we might also see a lot of different changes. That's at least my assumption. Going into the opposite direction, in the Dortmund, we will have a few players coming back. The goalkeeper Kobal should be back in the goal, which is a huge boost for the defensive output for Dortmund. They will be facing a tough challenge to keep the City from scoring. But if you have any of the players from BVB, I would be keeping them for this game, especially Bellingham, who is scoring in every game. The kid is wonder. But I will be not transferring him at the moment, because in matchday 6 for sure there will be rotation for Dortmund. Haaland is one of the highest predicted top goal scorer for this game, so he also might be the captain option, and I think this game is going to end up 1-3 for City. Next up is PSG versus Maccabi Haifa. Haifa is a really nice team in terms of the offensive stats. I feel like there is a lot of class difference between these two teams, and the quality is on the PSG side. Of course, they are playing at home. If you have any of the players from that offensive trio, keep them for sure. They're all captain materials. I think if you are seeking for a striker, I would be targeting these players, especially that in the matchday 6 they are going to be playing versus poor Juventus as well. So, of course, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and possibly Hakimi are all the great buys that I would be suggesting you. I think this game is going to end up 3-1 for Ballzz, and probably Mbappe is going to be my captain pick for the first game for Tuesday games. Next game we have Benfica versus Juventus. Benfica is the best team in the group stage from all of the ones. I think they surprised me a lot, and the quality that they are offering. They have won the derby over the weekend versus FC Porto 1-0, so they are in a good form. I would be proposing to maybe even buy the defenders right now. Somebody like Grimaldo, Otamendi, or cheaper Antonio Silva are all great purchases, especially that they will be having nice two fixtures until the end of the groups. And if you are punty, you can pick somebody from the forward spot like Gonzalo Ramos or Rafa Silva, for example. Of course, midfielders, Joao Mario should be a nice starter as well. And in terms of Juventus, they are in a bad spot right now. So if you have somebody from Juve, I would be keeping them. But if you have the luxury to sell these players, I would probably be selling the defenders right now. And Vlahovic is also capable of scoring, but I don't suspect that he will score in that game. I think this game is going to end up 2-1 to Benfica. Now we are moving into the Wednesday games. The first game is going to be Inter versus Victoria Pilsen. Inter is a highly favorite for me for this game, and I would be recommending picking somebody like forwards or Denzel Dumfries. It really depends who is going to start up front. So you can pick from Edin Dzeko, Lautaro Martinez, or Joaquin Correa, I think. We will see the lineups. However, of course, you need to do the transfers on Tuesday day. And I also think that you can buy the Dumfries, for example, for the replacement for the defenders. But I think there's a huge chance of rotations in matchday 6, so that's gonna be one matchday punt. I would say. But I think this game is going to end up 3-0 to Inter Milan. Next up, we have Club Brugge versus FC Porto. Brugge is going to be confirmed as a group winner if they will avoid the defeat. Porto will be through to the round of 16 if they will win, and Atletico will not. I think this game is going to be win for Brugge. If you have any of the picks like Jutgla or Skovolsen or the defenders, I would be keeping them. And if you are seeking for a cheaper midfielder, Skovolsen is the one that I would be looking into. However, I would probably not be buying Jutgla. For Porto side, I would say that keep all of the players that you have from this team, but don't expect many returns. I think this is going to end up 3-1 for Brugge. Next game we have Atletico Madrid versus Leverkusen. The situation is pretty much done in this group, and I think Atletico doesn't have really huge chances to go out. However, they will be winning. They will be trying to win to get the Europa League spot. Although I will not be buying anybody, but I think that Atletico defenders might be a good punt for the both BR points and clean sheet potential. But I also need to say that Leverkusen offensively is really good, and somebody like Diaby or Schick might be getting a goal in this game. I think this game is going to be end up 2-0 to Atleti. Next up, Napoli versus Rangers. Napoli is one of the best offensive teams in this campaign of the Champions League, and Rangers is one of overall the worst teams in this campaign. So you can probably think about it yourself what the result is going to be in this game. I think Napoli is going to easily win, and there's a huge bunch of fantasy prospects that you can pick from Napoli side, starting up from the star, the Georgian Kvaratskhelia. And I think this is a must-have for that game in particular. So if you don't have it, buy it. If you have it, he's also the captain potential for the second day in the match day. Zielinski or Ndombele are also nice picks. You can also try with Lozano, for example. But the shiny star for this team, I think, is going to be Osimhen, who is coming back from the injury. I think he's going to be on the penalties, and he will be replacing Raspadori. So if you have Raspadori, that's probably the transfer out for this match day. Of course, the defensive lineup is also really nice to have. So if you have somebody like Di Lorenzo or the Korean Min Jae, I think this is also very good to have for this match day. Napoli is going to wreck them. Wreck the Rangers 3-0, I would say. Now we have Ajax versus Liverpool. So I'll need to say a few things about the points in this group. So the only chance that Ajax is going to get out of the group is to basically win both of the games that are upcoming. So Ajax needs to win versus Liverpool and the next matchday 6 game. It's going to be pretty tough, and Liverpool is going to be out if they will avoid the defeat in the upcoming game. Situation in Jurgen Klopp's side is pretty difficult. There is a lot of injuries, there is a lot of suspensions, and the whole team is not in the best form of their lives. And similarly, Ajax wasn't in a good form a couple of weeks ago. I think they are slowly coming back, and they will try to give the tough home match versus Liverpool. I think there's gonna be goals in this game, and we'll need to see. I think Mohamed Kudus might be sitting on the bench for this game because Brian Brobby is in really nice form. So somebody like Bergwijn, Brobby, or even Berghaus might be a good punt on this match day. Of course, if you have them, but I would not be rushing to buy these players. It's pretty tough to predict the score line for this game, but I'm gonna say with the slight favor for Liverpool is going to win 2-1. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Marseille is not really the game that I will be focusing on this week. So the predicted score, I would say that Frankfurt is going to have a tough game versus Marseille, and Marseille is going to win 0-1. 1. If you have the players from each of the sides, I would not be rushing to sell them up, but I don't think there is any bargains or the players that you absolutely need to have from this game. Next game we have Tottenham versus Sporting, and Sporting is really troll team, I need to admit that. And firstly, Adan received a red card, then Pedro Gonçalves received a red card and is going to miss this game. It has been a terrible troll for me in this campaign of UCL. They have been much better in the previous ones. So I don't want to suggest you to buy any of these players if you have them, of course. And if you don't need to transfer them out, I would be keeping them. But I think Tottenham is having much more quality side to win this game. Both of the teams are not really like, perfect teams to watch. So this is going to be rather boring game, I would say. And saying that, I'm gonna say that the result is going to be 1-0 for Tottenham. Harry Kane is probably going to score another goal to his tally with maybe potential assist for Heung-min Son. And at the end we have the creme de la creme, Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. So we need to say that Bayern is through to the round of 16 and they will be confirmed as a group winner if they will win, or if Inter is not going to win. Barca is much in a tougher spot because they are 3 points under Inter. Barca currently have 4 points and Inter 7, so they will have to win both of the games probably to get out of this group. They still have the chances, but I think they are having the slim chance. Potentially this is going to be the best watch for Wednesday games, and I will most likely be sitting comfortable watching this game. I would not be rushing to buy any of the players at least for this game in particular. However, I do see a replacement for Leroy Sané in Ousmane Dembele, who had a perfect game over the weekend, and he is on all of the newspapers in Spain right now. His only costs around 8.5, and that would be probably my secret weapon to get a rank boosted for this match day. Of course, Lewandowski is another great pick, and if you want somebody from Bayern Munich who are slightly favored to win this game, I'd say they should be having a forward line of Mane, Coman, Musiala, and Gnabry. Of course, that's only my suspicion. So if you have these players, they should be good for goals. Leon Goretzka is also another pick that is much cheaper than the rest, and is noting a very, very good numbers. So if you need to replace any of your cheaper midfielders, I would say Leon Goretzka is the pick worth getting. That being said, I'm gonna say that this game is going to end up 1-2 to Bayern Munich. Alright, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please click on the like button and pass it on to your friends. If you have any feedback or suggestions for me, feel free to drop me an email on bigballsfantasy@gmail.com. And if you really like the episode, you can buy me a coffee using the link ko-fi.com/bigballsfantasy. Remember that as a thank you for buying me a coffee, I'm granting an access to my Discord where we can discuss last minute changes before the match. Thank you for listening to Big Ballzz Fantasy Podcast. You will hear from me in the next episode on the next week. Take care, cheers!